Hello everyone, back at it again with another video. I'm out here in my orange Eddyline Caribbean 12 FS kayak. It's a new kayak for me. It's pretty light for how long it is, how capable it is. So I'm liking the boat so far. In the seat, oh my goodness, they made some improvements in seating technology in the last 15 years. I don't even need my towel. The fall bass fishing's picking up. I got my new kayak and life's pretty good right now. We've got good weather today too. That always helps. And we're hauling fish into the boat. The fish do look bigger from this angle, which is kind of nice. That's a Crush City mooch minnow on a jighead. And a largemouth bass. Decided that would be a pretty good breakfast. I did a couple different things. If the fish weren't showing, I'd fish a Damiki rig, which was that first bass. Kind of large, 3 pounds or so. If they were showing, I'd throw a fluke at them. And that little guy swiped at that 5 1/4 inch super fluke. Just goes to show you, they'll hit something just about their own size. But that's not really the size we're after. We're after the big ones. So if I could get on them and they were showing, I'd throw a fluke at them. But at this stage, they were pretty fussy. You know, they were up and down fast. And if you were late or you didn't make an accurate cast, they'd go back down and they would come up. So the trick really for me was to find something that they would come up for. And otherwise, I had to make sure I made really good placed, long distance, accurate casts, lead them a little bit, all that good stuff. And I'll show you some of the other baits I was fishing a little bit later on. But we got another fish on a fluke. I'm pretty sure that was the Z-Man jerk shads. And I modified the jerk shads with a tungsten nail weight glued into the belly. Super glued into the belly, and that makes it cast further. It gives it a slow fall instead of floating, and it's a super durable jerk bait. They don't love it quite as much as the super fluke, but it is super durable. Another bait I was playing around with was this 6-inch zoom super fluke in the albino color. That albino color on cloudy days, that's hard to beat in any size, but that 6-inch super fluke, it's a little bit bigger, casts a lot further. It's a bulkier profile, so a lot more plastic there. Even though it's only a 3/4 of an inch bigger, it becomes a bigger profile in the water. And that seemed to help draw the fish up, even if they weren't showing. Now, that's something I didn't know right away while I was fishing this bait, but they seemed to come up for it better than a smaller zoom super fluke. So that was a really good thing that I figured out. Because if I can get them to rise up and chase, I can usually hook them. Even if they miss it, you know, a couple times, I can usually hook them if they start chasing it. I got a fish in the bottom of the net, and he doesn't want to come out and show you guys what he looks like for the camera, but we will figure that out. The smallmouth were a little bit harder to hook on that bigger fluke. And that's just because they have a small mouth. It takes them a couple tries to get it down the hatch. But as you can see, eventually they do get it. So I'm really liking this 6-inch zoom super fluke. It's new this year. I've used it for stripers. They like it. Bass, largemouth and smallmouth. Like I said, it's a little big for the smallmouth, but it does work for them. Messing around with finding the best hook. For stripers, I think the best hook is a BKK, Titan Rider 5/0. In the salt, that's my favorite hook. In freshwater, I'm playing around with some different hooks. The best one might be a Gamakatsu hybrid worm hook in a 4/0 or even a 5/0. And then I add some silicone grippers to it to keep the bait up and keep it from balling up on the hook. I'm still playing around with the best rigging, but basically it's just a little bit larger super fluke, and it's not as big as the mag fluke, which is another great bait. I use that a lot for stripers, Sometimes in freshwater too, but they have to be on big bait like adult herring, big herring, or perch. If they're on perch, they'll hit a 7-inch mag super fluke too, in like a watermelon red flake color. Anyway, I had some good luck on the 6-inch fluke for a while, and if they shied off of it, I could go back to the Zoom super fluke in some natural colors like an electric shad or disco violet or glimmer blue, that kind of thing, and just stay on the bite. And if they weren't showing, like I mean showing on top, I could try to call them up with the bigger fluke, or I could get on top of them with a Damiki rig and like a mooch minnow like I did at the very beginning when they weren't up yet. I've only got 3 rods with me, and so I'm kind of cycling through them, through different presentations, and it's working out. This one kind of took it pretty deep. Luckily, he's got a big mouth, so I can get my hand down in there and get the fluke free. He has an old hook injury that tore one of his gills too. You'll see it in a second. One of his gills is kind of like a lighter pale color, and it's not where it should be exactly. He seems to be surviving all right though. Yeah. Gills hanging out the gill plate. That wasn't from me. That was an earlier injury. I'm checking him out now. I didn't notice it before until I was about to release him. Here's one more look, and off he goes. Some fish popped up near me after I released that other one, so I'm going to get on them as quickly as I can, try to make long, accurate casts, lead them if I can, see if I can pull in another one on that bigger fluke. This is a small fish. The theory is the bigger bait should cull out some bigger fish. Doesn't always work that way, but they're all kind of fun. Yeah. Well, a little better than that tiny guy that hit the super fluke at the beginning, but he's not going to win any prizes. If they're not showing, I can switch to the Damiki rig, shake that thing down there. You can shake it over schools of bait, shake it over schools of fish. Fish finder really helps. I'm fishing a mooch minnow still on that Damiki rig, and I'm tying a double line knot to the jighead. And after every fish, you just slide that knot back down towards the bait, so the bait hangs horizontally in the water. Oh, yes, line twist can be a problem after you catch a bunch of fish. And what I do is I just let it hang and spin until it stops spinning, and then I can fish again. It only takes a few seconds to let it spin out, but if you do that, there's a lot less problems with your reel during the course of a day, especially if you're catching a lot of fish. That line twist adds up, and if you get some coils or loose loops, it can turn into a bird's nest really fast. So try to get the line twist out by just letting it hang and spin for 10 seconds, and then you can fish again. Back on fish with the big fluke. Kind of liking that big fluke. Oh, he dropped it. Oh, you know, it's a balance, trying to get the right size in for them. I think I cut it out of the video, but I think I missed a couple, you know, because they were chasing the big fluke. They weren't quite getting it, and that made me think they were kind of shying away from the big one. So now I'm going to throw the smaller one in, see if I can pick them off. And it worked out. It's good to keep a couple rods rigged up, ready to go, right behind you, or in front of you, however you store your rods. I like the front deck kind of open. Right now I've got a camera on the front deck, which means it's not open. I got to kind of adjust the way I fish. But in general, I like the front deck open, so I can swing my rods around, I can cast in any direction, I can fight the fish if they're pulling me down along the gunnels. Oh, the camera cut out. That was a nice smallmouth at the end there. And that's what he looked like in the water. And that's probably why it took him a couple tries to get it in his mouth. Oh yeah, that bait I was showing you a few seconds ago, that's the X-Wrap Twitchin Mullet. Size 8 in glass ghost, which is basically white with some flash. And it's a saltwater bait. I think it's targeted more towards like redfish, sea trout, that kind of stuff. It comes with 2 big single hooks. I think they're size 2/0. And I'm trying it in freshwater. So it's a saltwater bait. It's marketed towards saltwater, at least in the US. And I'm trying to fish it in freshwater because it's about the right profile of the bait fish that are around me and the bass are chewing. Now the problem is I'm fishing it on lighter weight gear than you would in saltwater. And because of that, it has too much flexibility and freedom. And so the front hook, the belly hook, keeps wrapping around the line tie, the head of the bait, the nose of the bait. And if I don't get wrapped up, I can catch a fish like I'm doing right here with those 2 single hooks. But if I do get wrapped up, it's a wasted cast and the fish won't hit it. Also, those 2 single hooks, they don't seem to hook bass as well as I'd like them to. So I've been playing around with that bait. I still haven't quite figured it out. I've tried loop knots, split ring, no split ring. What's working best for me right now is tying direct with a stiff knot that comes off the line tie in a straight line. Right now I'm using a double line clinch. It's kind of a big bulky knot, but it's keeping the bait from getting tangled. The other thing I did is I replaced the single belly hook with an Owner ST41 number 4 treble. It has the same weight as the single hook. So if you just take off the hooks, it messes up the weight distribution and it turns into a floater. I tried it like that, and it's not the greatest topwater. So you need some weight to get the bait to come down, but if you have that big single hook on the belly with lighter line, it's going to tangle on the nose of the bait. So you have to kind of play around with it and figure out what works. So for me, it was replacing the belly treble and switching the split ring out and tying direct with a kind of a bulky knot, the double line clinch. But I like it, and the fish really like it, and it casts well. Now if the fish weren't showing, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go back to that Damiki rig, hang it right over the head, see if I can get a couple more bass while I'm waiting for fish to come up, or fish to show, or bait balls, or really anything. And it's video game fishing, except I'm fishing vertically over them. This is an ancient fish finder, so it's just 2D straight up and down fishing. No forward facing sonar on this boat, and I don't think I'm going to get it. And you can play games with them, you know. You can shake it in front of them, you can hang it up high, you could try to pull it away from them, do a little cat and mouse, see what triggers them. Every day is a little bit different. You got to kind of figure it out. But I do a lot of shaking it in place, pounding it in place, and then I go from there. I feel like I start out more aggressive, and then I can fine-tune it if they're not committing. Alright, I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it. Just like all my other videos, I'll list all the gear in the video description so you can duplicate what I was doing out here the last couple days. Hopefully have some good success wherever you might be fishing around the country or around the world. I'll catch you on the next one. See ya!